There are some things that we all just take for granted, things like the post office, the library, and the fire department.
And of course, police. But in Georgia, there's actually an idea that's kind of surprising, letting voters eliminate an entire police department. Alex Osiris is on your side in Brunswick.
And Alex, voters could just decide to dissolve the police department altogether.
For the last century, there's been the Glynn County Police Department and the Glynn County Sheriff's Office, different but both playing their own roles. Now, a local state senator wants to change how things are done. Here's SB 317, a one-page bill that would give voters the option to dissolve a county police force. If passed, 13 Georgia counties, seen here on the map, could put the question on the ballot. Senator William Ligon represents District 3, including Glynn County, and he sponsored the bill. He's in Atlanta for the session, which is currently suspended for this week, and explained over the phone it was after a grand jury recommendation that he took up the cause. It relates to an investigation into allegations of impropriety between Glynn County officers and informants.
Glynn County is working to make some improvements to the police department, but ultimately it should be the voters who have a voice.
Glynn County's police chief, John Powell, was not available for comment, but the On Your Side team reached out to Georgia's Fraternal Order of Police, hearing back from its president, who says that they're currently tracking the bill and working with its legislative team. In Brunswick, voter Susan Bates says that she's in favor of consolidating the local departments.
It just seems to me that the consolidation of those two things makes financial sense, especially if there's no loss in jobs for people.
Others in downtown Brunswick told us off camera that they were against changing how things currently work. Ligon says with the time remaining in the legislative session, he's optimistic SB 317 will pass. That bill still has some more work to be done before it goes in front of lawmakers for a vote. Reporting in Brunswick, Alex Osiris, First Coast News, on your side.